Overnight, it was like the whole world went nuts. Everyone suddenly lost their minds. First, the landlord's daughter ran around the yard naked, claiming she was practicing invisibility. Then the news reported a global outbreak of something called spiritual energy awakening. Suddenly, everyone was awakening superpowers like it was the new normal. Some could turn stones into gold, others could control fire. And the craziest ones? They were bending time and summoning monsters. But in Yiling's eyes, they all looked like lunatics shadowboxing with thin air. Because he couldn't see any of those powers at all. Thinking he might actually be the crazy one, Yiling went to see a psychiatrist. The doctor listened and seriously said Yiling might be suffering from geriatric syndrome, unable to adapt to new things. After a few quick questions, the doctor just brushed him off and sent him away. But just as Yiling reached the door, a strange sound came from behind that made him freeze. Turning back, he saw the doctor using Photoshop to edit brain scans. In that moment, Yiling seriously started to question his own sanity. Could it be that it's not that the world is crazy, but that I'm the real psychopath? As he returned to his apartment complex, the sudden crackling of firecrackers jolted him from his thoughts. A banner read, "Celebrate the great awakening of spiritual energy." Yiling didn't feel the least bit festive. He kept his head down and headed straight to his rental room. His mind was a mess as he trudged up the stairs, drained and distracted. But the moment he stepped into the hallway, his heart skipped a beat. "Holy crap," he screamed inside. Landlord's daughter Zhao Xia was standing there, completely naked. Yiling froze in shock. Zhao Xia felt her heart skip too. Wait, why is he just staring? Can he see me? I definitely activated my invisibility. Did it wear off already? Panic hit Yiling like a truck. If the landlord finds out I saw his daughter like this, I'm so dead. As she stepped closer, Yiling quickly pretended not to see her. Instead, he pointed behind her and shouted, "Hey there, little guy. How'd you end up over here?" Before Zhao Xia could react, he grabbed the gecko and rushed straight into his room. As soon as the door closed, sweat poured down Yiling's forehead like raindrops. But before he could catch his breath, Zhao Xia sneaked right into his room. She started casually snooping around like she owned the place. Yiling's heart nearly exploded. Seriously? She's this cautious? Still double-checking even after all that. He forced himself to stay calm and quietly stuffed the gecko into an empty wine bottle, then muttered to himself, "Can't waste this vintage 82 law fight. She's still a young girl anyway. Probably can't tell if it's water or wine." With that, he turned, flopped onto the couch, and switched on a soccer game to steady his nerves. But Zhao Xia wasn't done. She circled around and started watching him from behind. Hearing rustling sound behind him, Yiling tensed up completely. Why is she still here? This isn't mental pressure anymore. This is psychological and physical torture. He glued his eyes to the screen, trying to look calm and focused. That's when Zhao Xia made her move. She walked right up, dropped her knees in front of him. Then, bam, threw her arms wide open, bare and beautiful, standing right in front of him. Yiling had to summon every ounce of self-control. Hold the line. Suddenly, he shot up and yelled, "Yes! Goal! Beautiful shot!" Zhao Xia quickly turned to look at the TV and saw that the goal had really happened. She finally let out a sigh of relief. She smiled in delight. Not even a second off. He really saw the TV through me. That means I'm truly invisible. Completely satisfied, she walked out of the room, still stark naked. As the door clicked shut behind her, Yiling collapsed onto the couch, drained. Dear God, thank heavens that was just a replay. Not long after, a loud commotion started echoing from the street outside. Peeking out the window, Yiling saw a bunch of ability users showing off, like it was some kind of circus talent show. He couldn't help but mutter, "Man, working at a mental hospital must be the safest job in the world right now." Just then, Zhao Xia suddenly turned and stared directly toward his window. Yiling panicked and dove behind the wall for cover. But before he could calm down, someone started pounding on the door, like they wanted to break it down. He opened the door and, bam, His furious landlord was standing right there. Without a word, the landlord tossed Yi Ling and his luggage out like trash. "Hey, what are you doing? I paid the rent on time." "Doesn't matter. My daughter said you give her weird vibes. So guess what? You're out." Scram. Yi Ling felt completely wronged. She's the one who showed up naked, and I'm the one paying the price? Damn that sixth sense of hers. With no other choice, he pulled out his phone and started house hunting. That's when a wild ad popped up. Luxury apartment in city center. Only $500 a month. He stared at the listing, squinting suspiciously. Downtown? Luxury? $500? Yeah, right, probably haunted. But desperate times call for desperate decisions. I've already lost everything. What's there to be afraid of? Let's see what kind of nightmare this is. Little did Yi Ling know, this apartment had already been taken over by a powerful cat demon. In fact, before he even arrived, 3 special agents had already been sent to investigate. The moment they stepped inside, they were devoured whole. Now, standing at the entrance, Yi Ling looked up at the lavish decor. This place looks like a 5-star hotel. There's no way this is going for just $500 a month. Still, following the universal logic of, since I'm already here, he knocked on the door. To his surprise, the door creaked open all on its own. Inside, it was pitch black, not a single light in sight. A chill ran down his spine. Not even a hallway light? This is straight-up horror movie stuff. Suddenly, a silhouette emerged from the shadows, speaking in a soft, eerie tone. "Hello there. Are you here to move in?" Yi Ling's heart shot straight into his throat. Okay, this is seriously creepy. But then, the girl calmly raised her hand and said, "Rent is $500, and you can even pay it later." In that moment, all his fear vanished. His eyes lit up like stars. A living saint. A true goddess of mercy. The girl just smiled faintly and gestured for him to follow. As they walked down the pitch-black hallway, Yi Ling couldn't help but ask, "Do you guys have power outages often? Why aren't the lights on?" Upon hearing that, her steps faltered ever so slightly. After a brief pause, she finally pressed the light switch. As the lights flickered on, a black cat sprang out from the shadows, landed on her shoulder, and hissed at Yi Ling nonstop. Ah, turns out the cat just hates the light. Yi Ling nodded to himself. So it's a cat problem, not a haunted house thing. Good to know. He didn't dwell on it and continued following the landlord deeper into the apartment. But the moment they entered the room, a faint black mist began to seep under the door behind them. Looking around at the luxurious decor, Yi Ling couldn't help but marvel. Compared to my last place, this is basically a palace. As he admired the plush leather couch, he casually asked, "So, rent really is $500? And I can pay late?" Unbeknownst to him, the girl behind him had already transformed, her fingers turning into claws, ready to strike. But right at that critical moment, her entire body froze, and she didn't move another inch. The girl's heart skipped a beat at the sight. He neutralized my demonic aura, just like that, and stabilized the environment too. At some point, Yi Ling had already picked up the black cat and was examining it carefully. No wonder the electricity's been acting up. Your cat chewed through the wiring, didn't it? But upon closer inspection, she noticed that Yi Ling had no spirit energy on him at all. Not only that, he didn't even seem to realize anything was wrong. She quickly made a new deduction. He must be carrying a spirit artifact, without even knowing it. Ever since spiritual energy returned to the world, some ordinary items awakened special powers and became known as artifacts. Most people have no clue such items exist, but when danger strikes, these artifacts activate on their own to protect the host. If I can trick him into removing it, he'll be mine for the taking. Meanwhile, Yi Ling had absolutely no clue what was going through the girl's mind. After a quick tour, he casually decided to rent the place. But just as he moved closer to confirm things, the smoke detector on the ceiling suddenly started spraying water. The girl rushed over and waved her hands, apologizing profusely. "So sorry. The smoke sensor acts up sometimes. Why don't you go freshen up first? A quick shower might help." Yi Ling nodded and headed for the bathroom without suspicion. He shut the door behind him. Outside, the girl's expression turned sinister as she muttered, "Once you're naked and relaxed, you'll be powerless to resist." Meanwhile, Yiling was admiring the luxurious bathroom setup. Dang, the water's got a perfect temperature control system. Classy. The bathroom door suddenly creaked open. Yiling jumped like a startled deer, clutching his towel tight. We saw what was happening. His nose nearly burst with blood. I just dodged the landlord's daughter's sneak attack, and now the landlady wants to offer premium service. But he quickly snapped out of it. "Come on, no way my stunning looks are that irresistible." He hurriedly covered his chest, backing up. "Can we, maybe talk after I put some clothes on?" The landlady suddenly shouted. "You do have an artifact that restrains me." Her right hand transformed into razor-sharp claws as she swiped his clothes into the corner. The black cat didn't miss a beat. It grabbed his clothes and darted out of the bathroom. Yiling rushed to chase after it, but the landlady blocked his path, growling, "You're not going anywhere." Then, without warning, she lunged at him. Strangely, though, just as she was about to strike, something caused her to instinctively back off, missing her target completely. Yiling quickly raised his hands. "Whoa, whoa. Easy there, girl. I'm all about respecting women." That only made the cat demon angrier. Her desire to consume his soul surged even stronger. As the landlady lunged at Yiling again, he threw caution to the wind, spread his arms wide, and shouted, "Sweet paradise, here I come." But in that split second, he spotted the pesky black cat on her shoulder. Without hesitation, he grabbed it and flung it out of the bathroom. Instantly, the landlady's eyes went blank. Her body collapsed like jelly into Yiling's arms. He ignored the fleeing cat for now and gently laid the unconscious landlady on the bed. Just as he reached for his phone to call an ambulance, he realized it was gone. Seriously? That damn cat must have taken it. With no other choice, he stepped outside to get help. Meanwhile, a brawny man was approaching the apartment from the street. Sensing the lingering dark aura, he frowned. As expected, demonic energy through the roof. The bureau really dropped the ball this time. Had I been sent earlier, I might have saved more lives. Just then, he spotted Yiling and called out, "Hey there, can I borrow your phone for a sec?" The burly man immediately assumed Yiling was the monster haunting the apartment. Yiling smiled politely. "Hey, mind if I borrow your phone real quick? Someone inside is having a medical emergency. I need to call for help." But in the man's mind, the gears were spinning. He's trying to lure me inside. Must be planning to boost his power by ambushing me. Calmly, he handed over the phone, then suddenly grabbed Yiling's wrist with force. "Name's Lei Ting, GS Class Esper from the Abnormal Power Bureau." With that, he unleashed a surge of electricity from his hand. But to his shock, Yiling's body showed zero signs of demonic energy. He released his grip, puzzled, while Yiling just massaged his sore arm. "Honestly, I really don't want to get tangled up with you lunatics." Lei Ting turned to enter the building, but Yiling remembered the landlady was still passed out and naked inside, so he rushed to block him. Lei Ting gasped. "You took a hit from my thunderstrike and you're still standing?" Without hesitation, he dropped into a combat stance. "I was careless before. Now you'll see my true power." Yiling just stared at him, completely speechless. "Bro, are you short-circuited or just naturally this insane?" Onlookers were frozen in fear by the bizarre scene unfolding before them. Yiling quickly raised his hands and tried to calm them. "Relax, everyone. Nothing to worry about. It's just a misunderstanding between friends." But before he could finish, the crowd bolted like startled rabbits. Meanwhile, the burly man grinned confidently. "So, you finally revealed your true form, huh?" Yiling glanced behind him. The black cat had silently reappeared at his back. In Lei Ting's eyes, a legendary showdown between human and monster had begun. But in Yiling's eyes, it was just a guy and a cat flailing around like lunatics. He tried stepping in to mediate, but they both ignored him completely. "Guys, hello. There's still an unconscious person inside who needs a doctor." With a sigh, Yiling kicked the annoying black cat 2 meters away. "Go play somewhere else." Don't get in the way. The cat hissed and took the opportunity to flee. Lei Ting shouted, "You're not getting away, fiend," and chased after it full speed. Within seconds, both man and cat vanished from view. Yiling stood there, shaking his head. Yup, outsourcing never works out. He turned and headed back to the apartment, thinking, might as well carry the landlady to the hospital myself. Yiling pushed the door open, only to find the girl already awake, lying on the bed with a dazed expression. He rushed over, concerned. "Hey, are you okay? How do you feel?" The landlady blinked at him. "Who are you?" Seeing her completely confused, Yiling's heart skipped a beat. Crap, she's lost her memory. That 500 rent deal's probably off the table. There goes my dream penthouse. He was about to break down in despair when the girl suddenly grabbed her head and let out a pained groan. Turns out her memories, before being possessed, were slowly returning. Watching her mutter nonsense to herself, Yiling sighed. "Geez, you might want to trust in modern science a bit." "Ah," she screamed, suddenly realizing she wasn't wearing anything. She clutched her chest and shouted, "You perv, what did you do to me?" Yiling spun around in panic, ears burning red. Hey, I'm a pure-hearted virgin. I swear I didn't touch anything. Maybe not before I passed out. But what about after? For crying out loud, I saved you, and now I'm the one getting interrogated? If you're innocent, then why don't you look at me? Because you're naked, okay. How am I supposed to look? The landlady poked Yiling's cheek relentlessly. What? You humans can't look at someone just because they're naked. Come on, spill it. Yiling turned away, on the verge of tears. Hey, everyone bear witness. It was her who made me look. Out of the corner of his eye, he accidentally glanced at her again, and his face instantly turned beet red. I mean, clothes are just for warmth and, attraction, right? The landlady tilted her head and traced circles on his chest with her finger. How sad. You humans have no natural fur like us cats. All you've got are clothes. Wait, what? Yiling's brain glitched. Did you just say as cats? The girl froze, then quickly covered her mouth. Oops, slipped out. Worried she might catch a cold, Yiling quickly turned to find her some clothes. But as soon as he opened the door, he froze in terror. The entire living room was filled with unconscious people lying all over the floor. It looked like the aftermath of a horror movie. The next morning, ambulance sirens echoed outside as curious onlookers crowded the building. The landlady stomped her feet anxiously. No one's dead, okay? The Ability Bureau said they're just temporarily unconscious. The old ladies in the crowd whispered, who knows if they'll actually wake up though. Just as Yiling tried to slip away unnoticed, a familiar figure blocked his path. It was Thunder, the muscled guy from yesterday's cat battle, now giving Yiling a full 90-degree bow. If it weren't for you, sir, we'd be cleaning up a nationwide disaster right now. Thunder reached out, trying to drag Yiling along. Join the Ability Bureau. You're exactly who we need. Yiling shook him off instantly. You've got the wrong guy. Without another word, he bolted. No way he was joining a madhouse full of powered lunatics. He hadn't gotten far when he bumped into his landlady, who looked rather downcast. The moment she saw Yiling, her eyes lit up like headlights. She pulled out a calculator and started punching in numbers furiously. Just a heads up, your rent's going up. New price, $35,000 a month. Yiling's jaw dropped. Wait, what? Didn't we agree on 500? You're breaking your promise faster than Wi-Fi in an elevator. The landlady shrugged helplessly. Well, you're the only tenant left in the whole building. Who else am I going to charge? Yiling nearly collapsed. Why is it always me? You can't just milk one sheep to death. She blinked innocently. Of course I can. That sheep's name is Yiling. You're officially my sponsor now. Yiling's face flushed red. This woman's brain is still scrambled from the cat possession. What even is this logic? Seeing him frozen in place, she added with a smirk, but since you did save me, I'll cover your rent for this month. The real price starts next month. Okay. Yiling forced a half-hearted nod. Sure, great deal. He stared at his phone, already opening the rental app again. Better find a new place fast before I become a full-time cat caretaker. Just as Yiling was hunched over his phone, Desperately searching for a new place to live, Thunderbolt silently appeared behind him. Seeing the housing stress written all over his face, Thunderbolt dropped a bomb. The Bureau's starting salary, 1 million a year. And that was just the minimum guarantee. Yiling perked up instantly and launched himself forward like a hawk diving for prey. Where do I sign? Thunderbolt chuckled to himself. But of course, to someone like Mr. Yi, a mere million is pocket change. After all, your power is far beyond S rank. Hearing that, Yiling rested his chin on his hand, pretending to think deeply. In the Bureau's ranking system, C rank ability users, at the bottom, still earned 100k per month. Of course, none of this should apply to Yiling. But by now, his eyes were practically glowing with golden dollar signs. Thunderbolt quickly added, C ranks don't really have useful powers. We don't train them or watch them closely. Just give them cash so they don't cause trouble. Yiling, however, found that idea perfect. Low attention, high income. Even if they find out I'm a total fraud, no one will care. He couldn't help but grin. 10 grand a month for doing absolutely nothing? Now that's the dream. After a whole 2 seconds of deep thinking, Yiling agreed on the spot and requested to be registered as C rank. Thunderbolt was confused, but grinned anyway. Whatever, as long as I bring him in. He led Yiling to a corner of the building, and when a shiny red Ferrari appeared before them, Yiling's eyes lit up like fireworks. Still on the outside, he tried to stay cool. Toys like this don't really impress me. Seeing Yiling act completely indifferent to the Ferrari, Thunderbolt was awestruck, truly a master, unmoved by fame or fortune. Little did he know, Yiling was silently mourning inside. Poor car. You deserve better than being stuck with these lunatics. Just as Thunderbolt respectfully opened the car door for him, a familiar voice called out from behind. It was the landlady. Yiling put his hands on his hips and boldly declared, I've decided. I'm renting your 35k apartment. She casually raised a hand. Oh, it's 50k now. Before he could even protest, she smirked. Hey, you're with the Bureau now. Time to live like a proper civil servant. And if you're short on cash, I'll accept in-kind payments. Just help me groom my fur. Yiling's jaw dropped. Wait, isn't that a little too much? We barely know each other. But after hearing her explanation, he froze. The landlady casually brushed her hair and explained seriously. We catfolk need regular grooming, or our whole body gets uncomfortable. If you help, I can skip my monthly massage bills. Yiling's eyes lit up. He raised his hand without hesitation. That's it? Deal. Just some cat petting? Easy peasy. But then the landlady leaned in close and whispered, Petting doesn't just mean the head. You'll need to massage the neck, front limbs, spine, back legs, and each session should last at least an hour. As the landlady described her catfolk massage routine, Yiling couldn't help but gulp. He leaned in, sounding just a bit too hopeful. So, can I groom a front too? She rolled her eyes. Absolutely not. We catfolk are extremely cautious. You'll have to earn complete trust first. Yiling backed off awkwardly, dreams dash for now. But then she poked his chest and warned, This isn't a joke. If you flake on our deal, I'm doubling your rent. Yiling patted his chest proudly. Double? Huh. I won't back out even if you make it 10 times more. Meanwhile, in his head, this is basically getting paid to massage a pretty girl. 1 hour? Please, I'd go all day. And the landlady was thinking the same thing in reverse. Perfect. Free labor acquired. Time to squeeze every drop out of him. Once in the Bureau's transport vehicle, Thunderbolt kept talking about base locations and custom facility options. Yiling, however, showed zero interest. Thunderbolt noticed and nodded solemnly. Master Yi truly cares nothing for materialism. Clearly, what he does need is elite resources to grow even stronger. He immediately launched into a presentation about powerful artifacts, training grounds, and enhancement protocols. Yiling just sighed internally. These people are delusional. All that flashy junk is basically decorative. Completely useless to me. He stayed silent, not even blinking. Thunderbolt, of course, misunderstood again. He must feel the Bureau can't offer him anything worthwhile. That's why he's being so reserved. Thunderbolt clenched his fist and made a silent vow. I will earn Master Ye's approval. I won't let the Bureau be looked down on. Meanwhile, Yiling just stared at him like he was watching a second-rate comic relief character. His brain was starting to hurt. When they arrived at the Bureau's headquarters, Thunderbolt proudly led him on a grand tour of the base. But in Yiling's eyes, this place looked more like a suburban office park than a high-tech super agency. The security system? Laughably weak. Yet, Thunderbolt boasted, our barrier system combines defense, detection, and offense. Not even a fly can sneak through. Yiling replied with the most lifeless tone imaginable. Oh, wow, impressive. Thunderbolt went on to explain how traditional firearms were becoming unreliable in the age of awakened powers. Nations around the globe were ditching hot weapons and pivoting to superhuman combat tech, trying to dominate the new era. Yiling nearly face-bombed. And here I thought this place was the crazy one. Turns out it's the entire world. Then another thought struck him. If everyone ends up play fighting like lunatics, maybe world peace is achievable. Still, he kept a poker face the entire time. Thunderbolt panicked inside. Damn it, time to bring out the big guns. Just then, a clear, teasing female voice rang out behind them. Well, if it isn't Captain Thunderbolt. Fancy seeing you here. Thunderbolt turned around, his face lighting up with a big friendly grin. Captain Yang, back from the field, huh? Before Yiling could even process that, the so-called Captain Yang turned her gaze to him, tilting her head. You look kinda new. Thunderbolt immediately raised his hand and introduced them with great enthusiasm. But the moment Yiling heard her full name, he blurted out, Wait, your name is Yang Jinshan? The girl blinked her big, sparkly eyes and asked, Why? Have you heard of me? Yiling forced back a laugh. Not really. I just think that name doesn't quite match your vibe. His eyes couldn't help but scan her, silver hair down to her waist, delicate features, barely up to his chest and height. This was 100% a tiny anime-style lowly, not someone named Jinshan. But Thunderbolt looked baffled. What do you mean doesn't match? Look at those biceps, that strong, square jaw, and that bold, manly beard. He even gestured dramatically. She stands there like a mountain, built like a tank. Yiling's soul almost left his body. This guy isn't just crazy, he's blind too. Biceps? Beard? Bro, that's a porcelain doll in human form. She looks like she belongs in a magical girl anime, not the MMA ring. Still waiting for a reply, the silver-haired lowly crossed her tiny arms and huffed. Hey, what's your superpower, huh? That instantly triggered all of Yiling's alarms. I knew it. She's using some weird ability to mask her real form. Yiling quickly forced a nervous laugh and said, Aha, I'm just a basic C-rank ability user. The little lowly, Captain Yang, immediately turned to Thunderbolt with narrowed eyes. Really? A C-rank? And you, an S-rank, went to personally recruit him. Thunderbolt started sweating bullets, stammering. Why, yeah, I was on a mission nearby. Just kind of picked him up on the way. Yang's big, sparkly eyes began spinning in thought. He saw it through my real form. There's no way he's just a C-rank. Seeing her fall silent, Thunderbolt nudged Yiling and whispered, Bro, help me out here. Say something before I spill the whole story. Come on, make up a skill. Any skill. Yiling sighed, cleared his throat dramatically, then declared with a totally straight face. Ahem. My ability is called Fortune Insight. It's a C-rank. Just basic face reading and fortune telling. To his surprise, Yang's eyes lit up. Wait, C-rank fortune telling. If that evolves to A rank, you could be a seer, a prophet. Thunderbolt quickly waved her down. No. He's a congenital type ability user. No growth potential at all. At that, her tiny face drooped in visible disappointment. Trying to ease the awkward tension, Yiling offered a hand. Captain, you're not looking down on me now, right? She reached out with her tiny hand and gently shook his fingertip, speaking with absolute sincerity. Of course not. All eyes are equal. There's no such thing as superior or inferior. After the brief exchange, she turned and walked off into the distance. Yi Ling stood still, watching her go, his mind full of questions. What's going on here? Why does Thunderbolt see a muscle man, but I see a lowly? Which one's the real her? Thunderbolt gave Yi Ling a firm pat on the shoulder and said sincerely, "Don't blame Captain Yang for asking so many questions. You're new, and your background's unclear. Once you pass the screening and get your official ID, he'll treat you like one of us." Yi Ling turned his head, hesitation flickering in his eyes. Should I tell him that his muscle-bound squad leader is actually a silver-haired lowly in my eyes? But then he thought better of it. I'm playing the weakling role here. If I spill the truth, so much for flying under the radar. So he quickly raised his hand and changed the subject. Let's just focus on getting my C rank onboarding done. As time passed, Yi Ling completed all the required paperwork and ID verification steps. Staring at the temporary name tag with his name printed on it, he asked, "So, is this my official proof of rank?" Thunderbolt waved it off. "Nah, that's just your initial certification. You'll need to go to the main office to get your real ID." Then, lowering his voice dramatically, Thunderbolt added, "Follow me. I'm going to show you the Bureau's most prized treasure." His grin widened, clearly excited about something. Yi Ling sighed inwardly. Seriously? This guy still hasn't given up? As they walked, Thunderbolt began rambling proudly. Some artifacts are locked away by the Celestial Division, but we've got a few legendary ones right here. But when Yi Ling stepped into the so-called vault, he was shocked. There wasn't a single guard in sight. Sensing his confusion, Thunderbolt grinned smugly. "You're wondering why no guards, right? That's what the barrier's for. Plus, the artifacts release their own pressure. Normies can't even get close." Just then, a familiar voice called out, and Yi Ling turned to see Captain Yang marching toward them, flanked by 4 uniformed bureau officers. Captain Yang stepped forward and stated coolly, "Captain Lei, we received intel that someone might be targeting the artifact. We're here to inspect the barrier." Thunderbolt blinked in confusion. "Wait, Captain Yang. This area is under key supervision. Shouldn't this go through the Celestial Division first?" But Yang's cute demeanor was gone. Her tone turned sharp. "We're acting on orders. Paperwork can be handled afterward." Watching the 4 officers follow this tiny lowly's commands without hesitation, Yi Ling's instincts flared. If she really gets inside, forget the artifacts. Thunderbolt might not walk out either. Just as she was about to step through the barrier, Yi Ling had a flash of genius. He dashed forward and stopped right behind her, then loudly exclaimed while patting her on the shoulder, "Wow, Captain Yang, your muscles are amazing. How'd you get so buff? I'm jealous." Eat. The silver-haired lowly instantly turned beet red, freezing like she'd been electrocuted. Yi Ling grinned internally. Knew it. Even in full macho disguise, she's still just a shy little girl inside. Just then, one of the officers reported, "Captain, the barrier is open. We can proceed." Thunderbolt quickly added with a smile, "Yi bro, if you ever want to work out, I can take you to the gym too." Yi Ling sighed. "You know, I'd rather not risk looking like a creep. Let's just go see what's going on." Of course, Thunderbolt leaned in again, flexing with a grin. "And hey, I've got decent muscles too. I'll totally spot you anytime." Yi Ling politely declined Thunderbolt's offer. "No need, really. One workout partner's enough. I don't think I can handle too much attention." With that, they all stepped into the Bureau's so-called artifact vault. Once inside, Yi Ling pretended to stumble and bumped lightly into Captain Yang. She let out a soft squeak, but before she could get mad, Yi Ling quickly apologized. Sorry. I zoned out for a second." Yang narrowed her eyes. "This place is filled with energy pressure. A normal person would struggle to stand. How is a C rank like you completely unaffected? Are you hiding something?" Thunderbolt quickly stepped in. "I've been using my power to shield him. Totally my doing." Then he tilted his head, suspicious. "But Captain Yang, are you injured or something? Bro barely brushed past you, and you reacted like he tackled you." Yang stiffened, then turned away. I've just been on high alert since entering. I'm worried someone might make a move on the artifact." so I'm a bit sensitive. She pointed at Yiling and huffed. If I hadn't pulled my punch just now, he'd be in a full body cast. She turned to Thunderbolt, voice sharp. You'd better take him out. The artifact's energy isn't something even you can endure for long, especially while protecting someone else. Yiling smiled slyly. In that case, why don't you protect me, Captain Yang? Thunderbolt's face instantly darkened. TCH, he's clearly trying to cozy up to her. Meanwhile, he keeps dodging me at every turn. But surprisingly, Yang suddenly relaxed her tone. Fine, if you're that interested in the artifact, you can stay. Internally, though, she was smirking. Perfect. With his C rank by his side, Thunderbolt will hold back in a fight. That's my leverage right there. She glanced sideways at Yiling and muttered, Yi bro, why you don't have to stand that close? Yiling edged closer, putting on an innocent face. Hey, just being cautious. We're all brothers here, right? Meanwhile, Captain Yang was mentally fuming. As soon as I get that artifact, I'm smashing this pervert into paste. Yiling finally turned to look at the legendary treasure and muttered, So this is the Great Bureau artifact? Looks like a glorified ruler to me. Honestly, it resembled a fancy antique from a stationery store. Just as Yang reached to open the artifact's protective seal, Thunderbolt stepped in, shouting, Captain Yang, what are you doing? The shield is an artifact. If you open it, the whole bureau will go on high alert. Yang replied coolly, For the artifact's safety, I need to inspect it properly. She narrowed her eyes and grinned. Desperate times. Nothing personal. Yiling suddenly blurted out, Hey, Captain Yang, is that a fly on your chest? Wham! In the next instant, Yiling was sent flying across the room. Lying on the floor, clutching his face, he groaned, Man, that hit hurt. Captain Lei, I did my best. You're up now. But then he squinted and muttered, Wait, why does your voice sound different? Before anyone could react, Yang turned and launched a brutal kick straight into Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt hit the ground hard, shouting, Captain Yang, what the hell are you doing? Yang looked down, smirking darkly. Huh, who said I was Captain Yang? The silver-haired girl sneered and shed her disguise in a flash. Take a good look. See who I really am. Thunderbolt's eyes widened in shock. A transformation artifact. What are you? Yiling clutched his bruised cheek, mumbling, Wait, that little fake mole was a magic item? What is this clown world? Thunderbolt growled and lunged forward. You dare to target the Bureau's artifact. Did you really think you could walk away? But before he got close, she flicked her wrist, and the jade ruler glowed, locking Thunderbolt in place like a statue. The girl smirked. You think I came here unprepared? The Scatter sect doesn't fear your little Bureau. Yiling just stood there, exasperated. Really, Thunderbolt? You can't even handle one small girl? And now you've dragged that Scatter sect into the mess? Smooth. Then the girl turned her gaze on him, eyes cold. Your turn. Yiling raised both hands. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm harmless. Seriously, all I want is a normal life. I already took one for the team. Can I not be part of this nonsense? Her voice dropped a few octaves. Just for calling me musclehead, I should break both your hands. Yiling cried out. That was me swatting a fly, and you were in muscle man mode. That doesn't count as harassment. The girl shot into the air, yelling, Enough talk. Not even the gods can save you now. Yiling stumbled back. Hey, 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 don't force me to fight a woman. I'm very respectful of the fairer sex. Okay? She froze mid-air, narrowing her eyes. I'm this close to you. And you're not panicking? How? Yiling shrugged, looking genuinely confused. What else am I supposed to do? I can't see your flashy power effects. So, what expression should I have right now? Pain? Fear? Nervous? Sweating? I should probably learn this stuff for future pretending. The silver-haired girl narrowed her eyes. With my pressure stacked on top of the artifacts, you should be crying on your knees by now. She sighed, visibly annoyed. Ugh, forget it. If you won't play along, I won't force the cringe. Then, she smirked. Interesting. You're only a C rank, but your composure, it's beyond even most S ranks. No wonder the Bureau let you in. Yiling let out a breath of relief and sighed. Phew, at least she didn't find out I have 0 powers. Suddenly, the girl grabbed his collar with a smirk. I was only planning to break your hands, but now? You're not leaving here alive. Just as she was about to strike, she froze mid-movement, sensing backup closing in. With a swift leap, she shot into the air and vanished from sight. As she left, she pointed her jade ruler at Yiling and said coldly, "You're lucky this time. Let's meet again, if fate allows." Thunderbolt roared from behind. "Don't let her escape. Bro, stop her." But Yiling didn't respond. He simply rolled his eyes back and dramatically collapsed on the ground. Thunderbolt looked like he was about to explode. "Yi brother, Yi senior, please stop playing dead. Just stop her. I'll even request they let you keep the artifact." Yiling grumbled internally. "Who the heck wants that dumb artifact? I just want out of your crazy supernatural drama. Come on, that girl's insanely strong and has an artifact. I'm just a C rank. No way I'm fighting her." Thunderbolt sighed in defeat. "Fine, I'll keep your secret like I promised. But you bro, stop faking. The Bureau's short on manpower. Go handle your onboarding solo." He handed over a sleek black access card. "Here's your security badge. Don't lose it." Yiling patted his shoulder cheerfully. "Got it, boss. I can handle it. You go do your thing." Humming a little tune, he strolled off happily. As he passed the training hall, he noticed agents deep in their intense practice. But to him, it looked more like synchronized stretching. Dang. So even in the superpower biz, people are still grinding like crazy. Then he froze, his eyes locked onto a familiar silhouette. "Wait a sec. Is that Zhao Xia? She's here too." Zhao Xia instantly pointed at him, her tone accusing. "You again? I knew you could see me." Yiling panicked. "Oh no, she's invisible again. Last time she had to strip to do that. Now she's fully clothed and still invisible." He quickly looked away and pretended not to notice. "Huh? That's weird. Why is the dust on the floor suddenly floating? Could it be something invisible nearby? Strange, nothing there. Why is there so much dust all of a sudden?" Zhao Xia narrowed her eyes at Yiling's odd behavior. Is he watching the dust? Since when was he detail-oriented? A thought crossed her mind. Wait, he's at the Bureau. Did he awaken powers too? With that, she deactivated her invisibility. Marching up, she questioned sharply. "Yiling, what are you doing here?" Yiling acted surprised. "Whoa, Zhao Xia, you're here too." She frowned. "When did you awaken?" Scratching the back of his head, Yiling chuckled. "Not long ago. Pretty much right after you got picked up by the Bureau." She pressed on. "So what's your ability?" Yiling shrugged. "Something like fortune-telling?" They called it C rank, the lowest of the low. Zhao Xia folded her arms, smirking. "Don't try to act all friendly. Since when are we close?" Then her expression shifted subtly. "Wait, you mean you haven't been officially evaluated yet?" Without warning, she grabbed his arm with a sudden smile. "Well then, as friends, let me show you around." Yiling felt annoyed. This proud little princess never even looked at me before. Now she's suddenly clingy? Clearly just trying to figure out my powers. He immediately pulled his arm free and replied coldly, "Sorry, I don't recall being friends with someone who once kicked me out. You're a rich girl, I'm just a broke nobody. Let's keep our worlds separate. No need to mix." Zhao Xia stuck out her tongue with a playful grin. "Bleh, you're such a jerk." Yiling rolled his eyes and rushed off toward the evaluation wing. Better get this over with fast. That girl might sneak behind me again in stealth mode. He handed his black access card to the staff at the desk. "Hi, I'm Yiling, new recruit for the Bureau." The staff scanned the card and nodded. "Got it. Please follow me." As they walked, Yiling muttered nervously, "I heard my ability's super weak. What if nothing shows up on the test?" The staff smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry. Our equipment detects all awakened energy types. Even weak abilities can be trained and improved." Yiling blinked. So that's why Zhao Xia can go invisible without stripping now." The staff pointed to a strange-looking contraption. "This is a new spirit-powered test device we developed." Yiling squinted. "Wait a sec, isn't this just a glorified handcart?" The staff explained seriously. It's embedded with a special formation. Only people with awakened powers can push it. The farther it moves, the stronger your spirit power, and the higher your rank. Yiling asked, and what about ability type? The staff shrugged, doesn't matter. Just say whatever. As long as your power level's high, you're good to go. Yiling grinned inside. Perfect. I can just make something up. I can't even see spirit energy, so this cart probably works like normal. I'll give it a light push, aim for a C rank, and that's that. He walked over, full of confidence. 10 grand a month, here I come. But the moment he applied pressure, the cart rocketed forward like a missile, sending Yiling crashing to the floor behind it. The technician stared at the screen, eyes wide as the device lit up red. An A-rank ability user? Yiling panicked and quickly yanked the car back toward him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. My goal was C rank. I'm not trying to get exposed here. The tester watching from the control room blinked in confusion. Wait, what? It was just A rank. Why is it showing C now? He grabbed the intercom and shouted, Hey, come out here a sec. Yiling froze. Crap, did he see me pull the car back? Stepping out with his best innocent face, he asked, Something wrong? Did the machine glitch? The technician looked stunned. I've never seen this before. It was clearly A rank, then just bam, dropped to C in a blink. Yiling smirked internally. Looks like he didn't catch me in the act. Then the technician gave him a suspicious look. What's your ability exactly? Could the rank jump have something to do with your power? A result that unstable. Makes me think your power involves variability somehow. Yiling nodded seriously. Yeah, I call it luck manipulation. I can randomly alter my luck. Probably just had a lucky spike a second ago, then immediately went unlucky again. The tech frowned. So, you can't control whether it's good or bad. That sounds unreliable in a crisis. Yiling sighed and nodded. Exactly. Honestly, it's kind of a lame power. The technician chuckled and patted his shoulder. No worries. I'll mark you as B rank for now. That's a 200K salary. If you improve later, we'll boost it up again. The technician handed Yiling a card and a stack of papers. Here's your salary card and a handbook for new agents. Go home and study it. We'll contact you if anything comes up. Yiling returned to his apartment, grinning ear to ear. 20 grand a month. Yeah, I'm officially rich, baby. Just then, his landlady stormed into the room, hands on her hips. So you finally decided to come back? Yiling blinked in confusion. Wait, why are you in my room? She rolled her eyes. Your room? Please. Since you're working for me now, obviously we're sharing the space. Yiling scratched his head. Huh? What work? The bureau didn't assign me anything. They told me to wait for instructions. She huffed. My work, the most important job in my life. And you forgot all about it. Without warning, she lunged forward and tackled Yiling onto the couch. His face turned beet red. Wait, get off me. I'm still a pure-hearted virgin. I can't handle this kind of pressure. But she didn't budge. Instead, she braced herself against his legs, smirking mischievously. The landlady looked blissful, murmuring softly, Yes, just like that, don't stop. Yiling gasped. She was serious about paying rent through petting. That wasn't a joke. She plopped right onto his lap and ordered, Keep going. Yiling's brain fried. She's been possessed by a cat demon so long she literally thinks like a cat now. Still, he couldn't help but think, that softness, that bounce, that silky feel, oh boy. Before he knew it, his hand had wandered up to her chest. Chomp. She bit his wrist hard and snapped. I told you, no touching the front. That's a feline defensive zone. Yiling flinched. It was an accident, I swear. We can keep going, right? She rolled off and adjusted her clothes. Forget it. Next time. You still need more practice. I've got other errands. Come with me later. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door and a gentle voice asked, Excuse me, is the landlady in? Yiling blinked. Wait, someone's renting this place? I thought no one dared live here. He opened the door and froze. It was the lowly who'd stolen the artifact. Only now, she was disguised as a poised, elegant young woman. She smiled sweetly. Hello, landlady. Here's the info you requested. The landlady took the papers and glanced through them. Yun Xian. All right, you'll be living in the room next to mine. Yiling squinted at the woman's face, spotting a familiar mole, so she did change her look. No wonder she's walking around so confidently after stealing the artifact. Just as Yiling was trying to figure out what to do about Yun Xian, the landlady suddenly grabbed his hand and pulled him away. He glanced back at the lowly turned seductress and sighed inwardly. Whatever, as long as she doesn't stir trouble, I'll pretend we never met. Yun Xian, however, smiled slyly. Found you. And so, Yiling was dragged off to go shopping. The landlady pouted as they walked. Ever since I got possessed by that cat demon, I haven't set foot outside. Time to finally breathe fresh air. Suddenly, her eyes sparkled as she spotted a plump woman jingling a shiny bell ahead. Her feline instincts kicked in instantly, and with a swift dash, she snatched the bell right out of the woman's hand. The plus-size shopkeeper shrieked, "Hey, where'd this wild brat come from? Give me back my bell." That bell was her prized business charm. Just one shake, and customers would swarm into her store. She panicked. Wait, did she discover its secret? Is this girl here to steal it? The landlady gave the bell a flick, unimpressed. Tisish, boring. Here, take it. The shopkeeper huffed angrily. You better know your place, or you're leaving here in pieces today. The landlady was about to turn around and look for Yiling, but suddenly, a group of rough-looking men rushed over and surrounded them both. The leader, a guy with a bright rooster head haircut, barked. Finally caught up, you fat cow. You run fast for someone your size. Hand over that enchanted bell if you know what's good for you. The shopkeeper snapped. It's just a little trinket I use to attract customers. Why would you want to steal that? The rooster-haired thug sneered. Cut the crap. That thing's a spirit artifact. You're just a regular civilian. Holding on to it'll only bring you trouble. Hand it over now, unless you want pain with interest. The plump woman gasped. Spirit artifact? This bell is that valuable? One of the goons suddenly spotted the landlady nearby. Boss, check out the babe behind us. Roosterhead licked his lips. Well, such a beauty walking straight into our net. Wouldn't it be rude not to sample the goods? He turned back to the shopkeeper and grinned darkly. Hand over the enchanted bell, and we'll keep things gentle. The landlady let out a low, cold meow. At that moment, a black shadow landed on the wall above. It was a small black cat, eyes glowing faintly. Roosterhead flinched. That cat. Something's off. Don't let your guard down. Meanwhile, Yiling was still wandering nearby. Seriously, how could she vanish so fast? Did she teleport like a cat? He paused and muttered, cats like to hide in sneaky places. Wait, what was that scream? His eyes widened. Something's going down. Back in the alley, the goons were closing in with sick grins. Little lady, this alley's sealed tight with a barrier. You're not going anywhere. Just cooperate, and we'll treat you nice. The black cat licked its paw smugly. See now, my dear master? Without me, you're just prey. You'll only be hurt again and again. Just give in. Accept me fully, and I'll grant you the power you deserve. These worms? They'll be our food. Just as the landlady was about to give in to the black cat's temptation, a familiar voice rang out. Yiling's. Oh, shut up already, you damn cat. Meowing like a siren. He stepped into the alley with a frown. Thought it was just some dumb stray, causing a ruckus. Didn't expect this full-on circus. The rooster-haired thug's face twisted. He barked orders. Number 2, stop that guy before he calls the bureau. Number 3, grab the spirit bell. One of the lackeys drew a symbol on the ground, chanting quickly. A glowing trap circle emerged, barrier lockdown. Yiling raised an eyebrow. Oh, so you guys are ability users too? Well then, this just got easier. Most ability users rely on flashy skills and tools. If we're going hands-on, I might actually have the upper hand. Roosterhead tried to sneak behind Yiling for a surprise attack. But without even looking, Yiling grabbed a nearby iron pipe and swung. Whack! The thug collapsed in a bloody heap, knocked out cold on the spot. The remaining 2 stood frozen. Boss? What the hell just happened? Wait, is this guy an ability user too? One of them shook his head violently. No way. To KO our boss in one hit, he'd have to be at least S rank. But look, he's just holding a pipe. No artifact, no aura. Yiling narrowed his eyes slightly. He's sharper than he looks. Guess this might get serious. The other suddenly slapped his forehead. Wait a sec. Boss did say that cat was suspicious. It's gotta be that curse cat doing something behind the scenes. Number 3. You handle this guy. I'm going after that damn cat. Relax, the third thug shouted confidently. I've got this, second bro. Yiling narrowed his eyes, thinking, I got lucky with the last guy. This one might be trickier if it comes down to a real fight. The thug cracked his knuckles and shouted his move. Behold, bareback tiger power. But in Yiling's view, nothing changed. The guy just looked like he was awkwardly posing in place. With a sigh, Yiling stepped forward and whacked him across the face with the iron pipe. The second thug stumbled back, shocked. Wait, are you an ability user too? Yiling slowly approached, holding the blood-stained pipe. The guy screamed, Don't come any closer. Then he spotted the chubby shopkeeper still clutching the enchanted bell. He lunged over and yanked it from her hands. Waving it overhead, he shouted, Even if you're an ability user, I'm not scared. Die, space cutter. The bell rang out sharply, and a flicker of distortion split the air like a blade. But to Yiling, nothing happened. Not even a breeze. The thug's eyes bulged. Impossible. That bell boosts power by several levels. Even elite S ranks can't withstand it. How are you unfazed? Yiling raised the iron pipe and said coolly, Sometimes it's better not to overthink things. As the thug collapsed unconscious, Yiling casually wiped the pipe and muttered to himself, Good thing I read the handbook. Registered ability users can't break the law, but these 3 obviously aren't registered. As a bureau agent, I'm just doing my job. Before Yiling could even put down his iron pipe, the landlady dove into his arms like a missile. Seeing her teary-eyed, pitiful face, his heart instantly melted. He gently patted her back and spoke softly, There, it's all over now. Just then, the chubby shopkeeper approached, nervously holding out the enchanted bell. They were after this. I don't want to get caught up in stuff like this ever again. Yiling casually handed the bell to the landlady. Here, you hold on to it. With this, you'll be safe. Then he added, But promise me, you'll catch that cat demon sooner or later. She puffed her cheeks angrily. It runs every time it sees me. How am I supposed to catch it? Yiling shrugged. Don't care. You figure it out. Otherwise, you'll have to make me keep you company every day. After they left, deep in the alley, Roosterhead's phone began to ring. Groaning, he slowly came to. A cold voice came from the other end. Report. What's your status? Roosterhead clutched his head, replying weakly. Mission failed. Second and third are down. Awaiting punishment, my master. We were ambushed by a powerful cat demon. It controlled a normal human to defeat us. S rank at least, we couldn't stand a chance. The voice cut him off coldly. Save your excuses. Useless fools. Return to base and prepare for punishment. The caller? None other than the disguised lowly who had stolen the artifact. Staring out from a rooftop, she whispered coldly, The enchanted bell. I'll reclaim it. And that Yiling? I'll make him pay. Back home, the landlady sweetly prepared breakfast for Yiling. Yiling thought their relationship would level up after he saved her. But instead, she seemed even more distant. She didn't even ask for a single petting session last night. Did I just lose my only perk? Meanwhile, the landlady was thinking, We cats aren't heartless. Yiling's so kind, I just can't keep treating him like my personal servant. The two of them chuckled at the same time, unaware they'd both been overthinking. She stood up and said cheerfully, I'm off to work. You stay home and behave, okay? Yiling nodded and opened the door, only to bump into the disguised lowly, now in her alluring woman form. She pretended to stumble, and Yiling instinctively caught her. Leaning in, she whispered seductively into his ear, Good morning, Yiling. Yiling stared at her, totally caught off guard. What now? What are you scheming this time? She smirked inwardly. Besides disguise, my real ability is mind control. If I catch someone off guard, just once, I can make them obey me completely. But before she could activate anything, Yiling pushed her away with a disgusted look. Her eyes widened. What? His mental resistance is that strong. My ability had zero effect. Just then, the landlady peeked out from the apartment door, voice chilly. Yiling, didn't you say you were going to work? Who's this you're flirting with? Yiling panicked and bolted. I am going now. Really going. The lowly watched Yiling walk away, her smile growing sly. No rush. I didn't expect it to be easy. I've got all the time in the world. Just then, something caught her eye. Her gaze locked onto the landlady, more specifically, the enchanted bell hanging from her neck. She immediately lunged over and questioned sharply. Where did you get that bell? She recalled her useless underlings saying it was stolen by a cat demon, and this apartment had rumors of one, too. Her eyes narrowed. So, you're the cat demon? She glanced around with a knowing smirk. Helping tenants clean up now, are we? The landlady flailed her hands in panic. And no, don't misunderstand. If you think cleaning's included in the rent, I'll die from exhaustion. The lowly tilted her head, still smiling. So, are you and Yiling, together? She thought back to her last visit, the weird chemistry between them, and frowned. I knew something was off. A cat demon and Yiling. That's going to complicate things. Trying a new angle, she asked sweetly. So you must know Yiling really well? What kind of things does he like? She fluttered her lashes innocently. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm just trying to be a good neighbor. Makes helping each other easier, right? The landlady blinked in confusion. Yiling's hobbies? I have no idea what he likes. The lowly raised an eyebrow. Seriously? You two live together, and you don't know? The landlady blushed and flailed. In no way. I mean, the guy loves chores, okay? Whatever I ask him to do, he's super motivated. If he wasn't rushing to work today, he'd have cleaned this whole place. The lowly smirked knowingly, thinking to herself, so Yiling's a simp. Huh? That makes things way easier. Scene shift. Yiling arrived at the Bureau HQ, only to be yanked aside by Zhao Xia as soon as he stepped in. She beamed at him. What's with that grumpy face? I volunteered to help you get familiar with the place. The Bureau's pretty chill. You can request to be grouped with people you know. I specifically asked to be with you. Yiling frowned. We're not friends. Inwardly, he was baffled. Why is Zhao Xia so hung up on me? She's probably still suspicious. I can see through her invisibility. They were assigned to Team 3 under Captain Lei Tang's command. The team leader's name, Ding Maxin. The moment they stepped into the training room, a booming voice thundered, Everyone, shut up. A red-haired man stood in the center, barking orders. 200 more squats now. A nervous team member raised his hand. Sir, I already applied to transfer groups. I don't have to do another 100, right? Without even looking at him, Ding Maxin replied, Then get out. Zhao Xia whispered to Yiling. Captain Ding used to be in the military. He's super strict. Most ability users can't handle his pressure, so our team's got the fewest members. Yiling lit up inside. Perfect. Fewer people equals less socializing. I can totally survive some military training if it means less interaction with weirdos. He glanced at Zhao Xia, puzzled. Then why you join this group? Ding's terrifying. Aren't you scared? Zhao Xia puffed her chest and declared, Oh, of course, I joined to better myself. Captain Ding might be strict, but he's serious and reliable. You grow fast under him. Yiling nodded thoughtfully. That explains why you've already mastered full-body invisibility, even with clothes on. At that moment, Ding Maxin walked over, eyes sharp. You the newbie? Get in line. Zhao Xia narrowed her eyes and muttered inwardly. T-Sich, once I confirm what your ability really is, I'm transferring. No way I'm staying here, getting yelled at. Ding Maxin addressed the team. New recruit. Introduce yourself. Yiling stepped forward calmly. Hey everyone, I'm Yiling, new B rank ability user. My power is altering my own luck at random. Someone in the back whispered, Random luck? That's useless. What if he gets unlucky? Sounds pretty unreliable. Hearing this, Zhao Xia finally relaxed, A useless skill like that couldn't possibly see through my invisibility. Good. I'll file for a transfer tomorrow and get far away from this annoying guy. But just then, Ding Maxin narrowed his eyes and stepped toward Yiling. That ability doesn't add up. Yiling blinked, forcing a smile. Come on, Captain Ding. That's just what the testing department told me. Ding's expression turned serious. The testing department only does basic scans. They don't analyze deeper functions. Their results aren't always accurate. Yiling panicked inwardly. Crap. Did he see through my fake ability already? He let out a nervous laugh. I think they overestimated me. Honestly, I'm more like a C rank. Heck, I could pass as a regular guy. Ding shook his head firmly. No, the mistake wasn't overrating you. It was underrating you. His tone hardened, eyes locking onto Yiling. Tell me the truth. What is your real ability? Yiling forced a nervous smile and stammered. It's just luck. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes it doesn't work at all. But Captain Ding suddenly looked deadly serious. Luck is a force capable of shifting the balance of the world itself. Whether good or bad, it's governed by the same fundamental principle, which means you have the power to influence the world's flow. Yiling stood there stunned. Hold on. How did I go from random luck to world manipulator? Am I really that strong? Ding clapped him on the shoulder. Don't worry, Yiling. Helping you discover your true path and hone your powers. That's my job. Yiling sighed inwardly. Man, I just made up a random luck ability, and this guy turned it into a world-bending theory. Yep, these ability users are all nuts. Ding burst into laughter. Kid, your potential is limitless. Ha ha ha. Zhao Xia suddenly chimed in. Captain Ding, does that mean his ability could be immune to other powers? Ding pondered for a moment. In theory, yes. But since he can't control it, it'd require two things: his power activating and being the right match for the opposing ability. The odds are insanely low. Zhao muttered under her breath. Even if it's low, it's still possible. Ding grinned. What's wrong? Afraid he'll resist your ability and bully you? Relax. If that ever happens, I'll personally discipline him. But Zhao Xia looked serious. No, I have to stay. I have to find out if he really saw me that day or not. Yiling suddenly asked curiously. Hey, Captain Ding, with all the students you've trained, have you ever seen anyone with like flying or teleporting powers? And in his head, he muttered, honestly, all this ability stuff just feels like shared hallucination to me. Yiling muttered to himself. But what if someone really can fly? Captain Ding shook his head. Flying? Teleportation? So far, we haven't seen anyone with powers like that. Yiling nodded thoughtfully. So most of these so-called abilities are just mental effects, nothing that breaks the laws of physics, at least not yet. Ding suddenly clapped his hands. Enough chit-chat. Your body is the foundation for storing spirit energy. First step, improve your physical condition. Everyone, 30 laps around the field. As Yiling jogged off, he thought, makes sense. In a fight, physical strength is king. Wouldn't hurt to learn some hand-to-hand combat too. Just then, Lei Tang strolled over, grinning. Hey, our new recruit's got real hustle, I see. He looked surprised. Didn't expect you to land in old Ding's group. He's known for being a drill sergeant. Want me to help you transfer out? Yiling waved him off. Nah, it's fine. By the way, how's that artifact theft case going? Lei Tang sighed. The higher-ups are furious. Gave us 1 month to get the artifact back, or we're all screwed. Then he smirked mysteriously. But hey, we did dig up something. Preliminary investigations point to an underground group called New World. Their leader supposedly has a mind control ability, makes followers absolutely loyal. Yiling plopped onto a bench and asked curiously, if they're all loyal, how do you even know such a guy exists? Lei Tang tapped his waist pouch smugly. We've got some anti-ability tech and counter-detection methods, you know. Problem is, the guy's super careful. Every time he appears, he uses a disguise artifact. No one's seen his real face. Yiling narrowed his eyes. So that cloud-haired lowly. Guess she approached me to try and control me too. Lei Tang leaned in, eyes gleaming. So, Yiling, got any tricks up your sleeve to deal with someone like that? Yiling kept a straight face and replied, Oh, I'll think about it. I'll let you know if I come up with something. As he stepped outside, he sighed to himself. Man, if only Lei Tang could just arrest Yin Xian already. She definitely moved in next door for shady reasons. But if he screws up like last time and lets her escape again, she'll probably mind control a whole gang to mess with me daily. Nope, I need a solid, foolproof plan. Just then, he heard a woman yelling in the distance. What are you guys doing crowding around me? I'm calling the police. Yin Xian suddenly shouted. Yiling, thank God you're here. I was just waiting for you after work, and they started interrogating me. They even pulled out some weird mirror and insisted I look into it. Total weirdos. Yiling felt a vein pop. Great. Is this woman dragging me in her mess on purpose? He forced a smile. Captain Lei Tang, she just moved in recently. Technically, yeah, she's my neighbor. Lei Tang raised an eyebrow. I see. So you two know each other. Yiling immediately waved his hands. No. No is a strong word. I only know her name. We barely talk. Lei Tang turned serious. Regardless, these are critical times. This is a demon-revealing mirror. It'll show your true form. Please look into it for 3 seconds. Yin Xian clenched her fists mentally. Ugh, what a crap day. I even had to burn my highest-ranking mole in the bureau to stall them. I need a new informant ASAP. That artifact from earlier, it was that jade ruler, right? It's way too big to fit in a pocket. Where the hell did she hide it? And then, without warning, Yin Xian shamelessly reached her hand straight toward Yiling's inner thigh. Yiling's face instantly turned beet red. He stammered, Hey, you're driving. Hands where I can see them. Yin Xian casually pulled her hand back and kept driving like nothing happened. But in that brief moment, Yiling had completely dropped his guard, physically and mentally. Yin Xian smirked inwardly. Just need to tease him a little more. Once he's fully trained, taming a simp like him will be a breeze. From then on, she launched her full-on capture mission. Wow, a guy who can cook? That's so attractive. Once, while Yiling was showering, she barged right in, smiling sweetly. Need help scrubbing your back, Yiling? Even when he was brushing the landlady's hair, she leaned over playfully. Helping your girlfriend with her hair? So sweet. Where can I get a boyfriend like that? Finally, the landlady snapped. That's enough. In the very next second, she picked up the little lowly and yeeted her straight out the window. Yiling didn't even have time to react before Ruo angrily turned on him. Look what kind of weirdos you've attracted. Suddenly, Yiling noticed a faint shift in the air, catching a glimpse of a familiar silhouette out of the corner of his eye. Zhao Xia, still in that same tight outfit. Guess she's in stealth mode again. Whatever. As long as she leaves me alone, I'll just pretend she's not there. Zhao Xia quietly stepped right in front of him, and Yiling kept staring at his phone like she was invisible. But then, out of nowhere, she pulled out a long silver needle. Without warning, she lunged, aiming straight for Yiling's eye. Yiling cursed inwardly. Women really were the most ruthless. That move was way too sinister. If her hand had slipped, his eyes could have been destroyed. Zhao Xia stared at him coldly, but inside, she was thinking, people always react instinctively in danger. This time, she had to find out if he could really see through her invisibility. Just as the tension reached its peak, a co-worker's voice rang out. Yiling, it's lunchtime. Come eat with us. Yiling immediately went along with it, finally finding a way out of the mental torture. That woman had almost driven him insane. She scared him every few days like clockwork, never giving him a moment's peace. If he didn't push back, was she really going to keep treating him like some weakling? An idea popped into his head. He suddenly pretended to twist his ankle. Using the motion as cover, he hurled himself straight at Zhao Xia. In the next second, he tackled her to the ground, his face landing squarely against hers. In that instant, her invisibility was completely broken. Gasps erupted all around. What happened? Did Yiling just crash into Zhao Xia while she was training her powers? Zhao Xia's face flushed a deep red. furious and embarrassed. She yelled, "You pervert! Get off me!" She scrambled up and slapped Yiling hard across the face. Yiling held his cheek, completely speechless. Was that really necessary? It's not like he did it on purpose. Just then, someone spoke up for him. "You were invisible. How was he supposed to see you?" Hearing that, even Zhao Xia looked a bit unsure. Her face turned red with shame and frustration. With a cold snort, she turned around and stormed off. Yiling smirked. "Let's see if she dares to mess with me next time." Just then, someone called out, "Yiling, Captain Lei wants to see you." A moment later, Yiling stepped into Lei Tang's office. "Captain, you called?" Lei Tang looked serious. "Yiling, you've probably heard. We had a traitor in our ranks recently. We've cleared out any compromised agents in key departments. And we think we've found a way to catch the leader of New World. We'd like your help." Yiling turned on his heel before he even finished. "Yeah, hard pass." Lei Tang dropped his dignity and bear-hugged Yiling's leg. "Big bro, boss, I'm begging you. With you on the mission, we'll have a real chance. Don't make me kneel, please." Yiling sighed. "All right, spill it. What's your brilliant plan? You guys got an ID on the guy, or what?" Lei Tang explained earnestly. "We think their leader will be desperate to find a new pawn inside the bureau. So we're planning to lure him in." Yiling raised an eyebrow. "So, you're baiting him with someone he might try to control and surrounding that person with backup? But how do you know he'll take the bait?" Lei Tang puffed up confidently. "We've got an ability user who can predict the perfect target profile and some persuasive tricks. It'll work." Yiling waved dismissively and turned away again. "You guys sound pretty locked and loaded. You don't need me. So many elite agents in place. One more or less won't change anything." Lei Tang nearly burst into tears. "But the prediction team says there's a 1 in 10,000 chance she escapes. That's why we need you, man." Yiling grumbled. "Fine. But if I show up and she still escapes, don't even think about blaming me.